Hello friends, in this class we will discuss the concept of direction of power flow in a power system. The direction of active and reactive power flow in a power system where power is being transferred between the buses and which is supplied by the generator is very important. Based on the sign of active and reactive power, we can come to know active and reactive power is flowing in which direction and whether a particular machine is supplying or absorbing active and reactive power. Now to understand this concept of power flow in AC system, first we will consider the concept of direction of power flow in a DC system. Now consider a simple case where there is a battery. Now as you know, battery is represented by many cells connected in series and it is represented by the positive terminal and the negative terminal. One terminal will act as the anode and another will act as the cathode. Now two cases we will consider here. In first case, the current is flowing in the battery in the positive polarity. So this is the direction of current which is flowing into the battery. Now by this particular convention we can say that this battery is assumed to be charging, that is it is absorbing the power. Now when this is true only if E and I both are positive. So how we can determine whether a battery is actually charging or discharging, that is whether it is actually absorbing or delivering power. So for that we need to calculate the power. Now how we can calculate the power? In case of DC system it is straightforward. So power in case of DC system, it is simply E into I, product of voltage and current. Okay, so that is the formula of power in case of DC system. Now what we can do, we can consider two cases, whether power is positive or whether power is negative. Now suppose if I consider the first case, if P is positive, then power will be absorbed by the battery. So whereas if P is negative, then battery will deliver the power. So sign of power is very important to determine whether a battery is absorbing or delivering the power. And this statement is valid for this particular convention where current is being entered into the positive terminal, that is we are assuming that this battery is charging. Now what will be the condition or what will be the state of battery in first case? It is quite obvious. If it absorbs the power, we can say that this is a case of charging of battery, and if it delivers the power, then battery is being discharged and it is delivering the power. And to which element it is delivering the power, so that we don't know. Whatever external circuit is connected, so that circuit, this particular battery is delivering the power. Now consider the next convention of DC system. Now here direction of arrow is pointing away from the positive terminal, so that is battery is assumed to be discharging, that is it is delivering the power. Now according to same logic we can write, if P is positive, again how we can calculate P? As it is a DC system, we can calculate P simply as product of voltage and current. Now here if I consider the first situation, if P is positive, then power will flow in this particular direction and battery is going to be discharged, then it delivers the power. And if P is negative, then actual power will be flowing into the positive terminal. That is, we can say that battery is absorbing the power. So second case, so if P is negative, now what is the behavior of battery in first case? As you can see, first case, if it delivers the power, then battery is discharging, and if it absorbs the power, then battery is charging. Now why power will be negative in both cases, whether this case, first case, or the second case, why power will be negative? So obviously P will be negative if either voltage E or current I are negative. If I assume E to be of this polarity, that is plus and minus, and if I take E to be positive, so if current is negative, then what it means, in first case current is not flowing into the battery, but it is flowing away from the positive terminal, that is, it is supplying the power. Okay, so if P is negative, then it is supplying or delivering the power. Similarly, in this case, our assumption is that current is flowing away from the positive terminal, that is, it is delivering the power. But if we get P as negative, so when P can be negative, if I is negative. So if I is negative, we can say that current is not flowing in this direction, but it is flowing in this particular direction, that is, battery is being charged. Now let us understand this with few cases. Now 4 cases I have shown here. Now in each case we will determine how much is the power and whether battery is absorbing or delivering the power. Now in first case, as you can see, the direction of this particular arrow, it is flowing into the positive terminal, that is, battery is assumed to be charging, that is, it is absorbing the power, and magnitude of current is also positive, meaning is that product of voltage and current will be positive. So if I take 100 into 3, so power will be 300 watt. So 300 watt, so that will be the power, and whether this power will be absorbed or delivered, now as it is taking the power, and if it is positive, then it absorbs the power. So we can say battery absorbs power. And how much power it is absorbing? It is absorbing 300 watt of power. Now consider the second case. In second case, voltage is 100 volt, but current here, it is minus 3 ampere in this direction. So what it means? Actual current, it will flow in this particular direction. If current is flowing away from the positive terminal, then it will supply the power. So it will act as a discharging circuit. Okay, so we can say that in second case, that battery delivers the power. And how much power it will deliver? Again 100 into 3, that is 300 watt power. Now what will be the behavior of circuit if it is delivering the power? So it is obvious, whenever it delivers the power, so this particular circuit, it will be discharging. Here, if it takes the power, behavior of the circuit will be charging. Now coming to the third case, now here we are assuming that current is flowing away from the positive terminal. That is, we are assuming that battery is being discharged. Now see the signs of voltage and current. So voltage is positive 100 volt, current is also positive 3 ampere. So 100 into 3, it will be 300 watt, and current is flowing away, so that is, it is supplying the power. And how much power it will deliver? Battery will deliver 300 watt power. And if battery delivers the power, what will be behavior of this particular battery? It will be discharging battery. Now consider the fourth case. Here direction of arrow is away from the positive terminal, that is, we are assuming that it is delivering the power, but see the sign of current, it is negative. So if minus 3 ampere in the left hand side, it means that actual current, it is flowing in this direction, magnitude is 3 ampere. So actually it is taking the power of 300 watt, 100 into 3, that is 300 watt. And if it absorbs the power, its behavior, it will be a charging behavior. So battery is actually getting charged here. So what we can understand here, simply by the direction of current, we cannot judge whether power is absorbed or delivered by a battery, by a DC source. What we need to do, we need to calculate the power if that particular power, if it is positive, and if we assume that battery is actually absorbing the power, then that battery will be absorbing the power. But if our convention is that battery is absorbing the power, and if we get P as negative, then in that case battery will deliver the power. Similarly, if we assume that battery, if it is delivering the power, and if we get power as positive, then we can say that that particular battery is delivering the power and it is discharging. Whereas if you consider the battery to be delivering the power, and if we get power as negative here, because 100 into minus 3, it will be minus 300 watt, or we can say that direction of current it is reversed, then in that case it will absorb the power. Now this is for the DC circuit, but in our actual power system mostly we use the AC system. So we will discuss this with respect to the AC system. But in AC system there are two types of power. One is the active power, another is the reactive power, and we will calculate these powers in terms of complex power, that is S, which is given by VI conjugate. For AC system, again we will consider two cases. This is the circuit diagram of AC system. Now here this is the positive terminal, this is the negative terminal, and this is now the AC system. This is not the DC system, this is a AC system. So this is a AC source, AC machine. Now in first case we are assuming current is flowing in this direction. That is basically at that particular instant current is flowing from the positive terminal. That is, we are assuming a generator action, because generator delivers the power. Here we cannot use the convention of charging and discharging. Instead, here we will use the convention of generator and motor. Now, if power is flowing away or machine delivers the power, then that behavior is a generator behavior. So generator action is assumed. Now here, as I told, we need to calculate complex power S, which is given by E into I conjugate. So that is the complex power per phase. We are considering the per phase. Now here various cases we have to assume. Now here when we solve this particular equation, S is equal to EI conjugate, in rectangular form we will get real term, which will be the active power, and we will get the imaginary term, which will be the reactive power. Based on the signs of active and reactive power, we will come to the conclusion whether that particular machine is really absorbing or delivering the power. Here we are assuming by this particular convention that if we get P and Q as positive, then it will deliver the power. But we have to do the actual calculations while solving the numerical. So here we will consider the various cases. So based on signs of P and Q. So first case, so if P is positive, then it means machine delivers the active power. But if P is negative, then machine will absorb the active power. So remember, P is the real power or active power. So same thing we can write for reactive power. So if Q is positive, then it means machine is delivering the reactive power. Whereas if Q is negative, in that case machine will absorb the reactive power. So what we understood here, so first step we need to calculate the power. S is equal to EI conjugate. We will get this power in rectangular form. So real term will be the active power P, reactive term will be the imaginary part Q. Then we have to check the signs of P and Q. So if P is positive, then in this convention it will deliver the active power, whereas if it is negative, it will absorb the active power. Similarly, we can say for reactive power. Now this is the case if you assume the generator action. Now consider the next case, motor convention. So if I assume that current is flowing into the positive terminal at that particular instant, then we are assuming it as a motor. Now again we need to calculate complex power, which is given by S is equal to E into I conjugate. After solving this, we will get real term as active power, imaginary term as the reactive power. Now, like the previous case, here also 4 conclusions we can draw. First conclusion is that if P is positive in this case, means we are assuming the motor action and it is really absorbing the power. So if P is positive, we can say it absorbs the power. And if P is negative, then it is obvious that it is not absorbing the power. As per our convention, we are assuming that it is absorbing, but if we are getting negative, so if P is negative, then machine is delivering the power. Similar statement we can write for reactive power. So if Q is positive, then as per this convention we are assuming motor action, so it will absorb the power, and if you are getting Q as positive, means it is really absorbing the power. And finally, if Q is negative, so it means machine is not absorbing the power, but it is actually delivering the power. So reactive power is flowing away from the positive terminal. So that is the meaning. Okay, so we have considered 2 cases. First, if you assume the generator action and if you assume the motor action. So if generator action is there, as we can see in this particular case, then these are the conventions, and if motor action is there, then these are the conventions. So let us solve one numerical to understand all this. This is a numerical we will solve. So 2 ideal voltage sources designated as machine 1 and machine 2 are connected as shown in figure. This is a figure. If E1 equal to 100 at an angle of 0 degree holds, E2 equal to 100 at an angle of 30 degree holds, and Z, that is the impedance, equal to 0 plus J5 ohm, determine A, whether each machine is generating or consuming active power and amount of that active power. B, whether each machine is generating or consuming reactive power and amount. C, active and reactive power absorbed by impedance. Now here if you observe this particular current direction carefully, so this direction of current is flowing away from the positive terminal, means this machine 1 is assumed to be behaving as a generator, and if this current, as you can see, this current is entering into the positive terminal, then this machine is assumed to behave as a motor. But whether really this is a generator and this is a motor, we don't know unless we calculate power of each motor. Now let me go to the next slide. I will write the data. So E1 is equal to 100 at an angle of 0 degree holds. E2 is equal to 100 at an angle of 30 degree holds. Impedance Z is 0 plus J5 ohm. So 0 plus J5 ohm means this is a pure inductive impedance. There is no resistance involved. Now we need to calculate active and reactive power, and we need to determine whether they are absorbing or delivering the active and reactive power. And second thing, we need to calculate the active and reactive power absorbed by the impedance. Impedance will always absorb the active and reactive power if it is a inductive. So it will absorb the reactive power. If it is a capacitor, then it can supply the reactive power. First step, we need to calculate the current. So by Ohm's law, so what will be this current I? It will be higher potential assumed, that is E1, minus lower potential, that is E2, divided by impedance Z. If you calculate this, if I put the values, so E1 is 100 at an angle of 0 degree minus E2 is 100 at an angle of 30 degrees divided by impedance, that is 0 plus J5. If you solve this, we will get current as minus 10 minus J 2.68 ampere in rectangular form. If I convert this to polar form, I will get it as 10.35 at an angle of 195 degrees ampere. That is the current that will flow from E1 to E2. Once we determine the current, we can calculate the power. So power supplied by machine 1. Now actually whether it is supplying or absorbing the power, we will come to know only after checking the signs of P and Q. Complex power of machine 1. So let us denote it by S1 will be equal to E1 into I conjugate. So that is equal to how much is E1? It is 100 at an angle of 0 degree. How much is I? That we have got. I is 10.35 at an angle 195, and we need to take conjugate of that. So this will be equal to 100 at an angle of 0 degree as it is into 10.35 at an angle of minus 195 degrees. So if you solve this, if I put this in calculator, I will get S1 as minus 1000 plus J 268, and unit will be V. So this is the complex power of machine 1. Now what is this real term? So this term is your active power P, and this term is the reactive power Q. Now as we can see, here we are getting negative sign. Meaning is that as per this convention, we are assuming machine 1 to be generator. So what was our assumption? As per this convention, so machine 1 we have assumed to be generator, and machine 2 we are assuming to be motor. That is the assumption, or the from the figure we can say that behavior will be like this. But actually we are getting P as negative. Meaning is that machine is not delivering the active power, but it is absorbing the active power. So we can write, so machine 1 absorbs 1000 watt active power. Okay, so that is the important conclusion. And second thing we can say about the sign of reactive power. So reactive power is positive, and we are assuming it is a generator. So therefore it is delivering the reactive power. Machine 1 delivers 268 var reactive. Now similar thing we need to do for machine 2. So again we will calculate the complex power of machine 2, that is S2, that will be equal to E2 into I conjugate. Now how much is E2? It is specified in the problem. It is 100 at an angle of 30 degree. How much is I? That we have got. It is 10.35 at an angle 195. We need to take conjugate of that. So this will be equal to 100 at an angle of 30 degree into 10.35 at an angle of minus 195 degree. So if you put this in calculator and solve this, then you will get S2 is equal to minus 1000 minus J 268 V. Now see, here we are getting real term as negative. So this is your active power P, and this is your reactive power Q. So we are getting negative active power. And what was our assumption from this figure? We are assuming second machine to be motor, but we are getting P as negative, means it is actually delivering the power. Whereas we are getting reactive power also negative, means it is also delivering the reactive power. So machine is delivering both active power as well as reactive power. So we can write this. So machine 2 delivers active power of 1000 watt, and machine 2 delivers reactive power of 268 watt. Okay, so that is the answers about active power and reactive power. Now if you have a look, which machine absorbs the active power and delivers the reactive power? So machine 1, it absorbs the active power and delivers the reactive power. So this behavior is similar to which kind of machine? So it is similar to your synchronous motor, and which is overexcited. So we can say that machine 1 it is overexcited synchronous motor, and this machine 2 it is delivering both active power and reactive power, means this particular machine is not motor, but it is a synchronous generator or alternator. So whatever assumptions that we have here, that machine 1 is generator and machine 2 is motor, so that is actually wrong. Machine 1 is not generator. Actual behavior, machine 1 it is actually a motor, synchronous motor which is overexcited, and machine 2 is not motor, but actually it is a generator or alternator. Okay, so we will come to know this after checking the signs of P and Q. Now, one more thing is asked in this particular problem. We have to calculate active and reactive power absorbed by impedance, this particular impedance. Now we have calculated the current I, so we can calculate the power simply by I square into R, that will be active power, and I square into X of this impedance, that will be the reactive power. Now this impedance is purely reactive because R is 0, so active power will be 0. Reactive power will be simply I square into X, that is 5. So we will calculate this. So active power absorbed by impedance P will be equal to I square into R of impedance, so that will be equal to I square into 0, because there is no real term, no resistance term. So active power loss in this particular impedance P, in impedance, let me call it as PZ, so that will be equal to 0 watt. Now what about the reactive power? So reactive power absorbed by impedance. Why we can say it is absorbing? Because it is a inductive element due to the plus sign. If you see the Z, what was Z? Z is 0 plus J5. So meaning is that this is your inductive network, this is your XL. So reactive power absorbed by impedance, we can say QZ, that will be simply equal to I square into XL. So that will be equal to, now how much is current, magnitude of current? It is 10.35, square of that into XL, it is 5. So if you calculate 10.35 square into 5, we will get reactive power absorbed by impedance as 536 var. This is the reactive power loss in impedance. Now we can indicate these quantities on the diagram. Now machine 1, it is taking the active power. So direction of active power for this particular machine 1, it will be like this, because it is absorbing the active power. So I am using blue color for active power. So how much is this power? Active power, it is 1000 watt. So machine 1 takes 1000 watt power. It is being absorbed. Now it is delivering the reactive power. So delivering the reactive power, I will use green color for reactive power. So it is delivering the reactive power. Direction will be this direction. Okay, so reactive power Q, it is being delivering. So Q is equal to 268 var. 268 var. So machine 1, it is taking 1000 watt and delivering 268 var reactive power. What about machine 2? So whatever 1000 watt is taken by this particular machine 1, it is supplied by this particular machine 2, because there is no resistive component in impedance. So entire power will be flowing from machine, entire active power will be flowing from machine 2 to machine 1. So it is supplying an active power of 1000 watt. And about reactive power, this is also delivering the reactive power. So machine 2 also delivers reactive power. So reactive power is also flowing in the same direction as that of active power. So Q, it is 268 watt. Machine 2, it supplies 1000 watt. There is no active power loss. So entire 1000 watt will be absorbed by machine 1. Machine 2 supplies 268 watt. Machine 1 also supplies 268 watt. So therefore, as we have seen in the previous slide, reactive power loss absorbed by impedance is 536. So this is actually 268 plus 268. So you can consider by this way also. Q taken by impedance is 536 watt. And how much is the P taken by this impedance, active power taken by impedance? It is simply 0, because there is no resistive component. So I hope you have understood how to judge whether machine is delivering or absorbing the active power and reactive power. We have considered this with the help of DC circuit or the battery, and then we have correlated that with the AC. Thank you.